careful. Don't. Right, okay.
I'm not going to be shocked.
Okay. Right. Well, I'm streaming now. I'm in the middle of streaming.
Stop.
Right.
Stop.
No, it's okay.
Stop.
I'm about to play a recording.
Don't have that recorded by me. I don't want that bit recorded. Start again.
No, I've already put the description in.
No, you can redo it.
No, I put the description in. Right.
Why didn't you say it before?
It's live, Darren.
I don't want to be on that, Barney. I don't want to be on that. I don't want to be on it. Let me get in the bath. I just want to get in the bathroom.
I've just started streaming.
No, I don't want to get in there. I don't want it.
Well, don't talk then. Okay, right. This is just excuse me because I'm under a lot of stress. I'm just about to document and play the recording of the phone call to Councillor Robin Maxted earlier today. I've put in the description a message for Dan, and Dan, as I said, you're not responsible for those individuals, they are, and I will be making a personal message for Tina. But as you know, I told you something very delicate. I told you that about what happened on Sunday, the 21st of August, when me and my partner were assaulted by a security guard. There's so much that people don't know. This is just it. They skim over things. I've said many times, I've got so many horror stories. And it was a very strange thing that happened because I observed, as I told you, Dan, I observed Darren's behaviour, and he was more calm than I'd ever seen him. I told you that I'd been left with the hospital porter who said to me, who did a Masonic hand gesture, this one, for kings. And he said, his words to me were, this has to go to the CEO. He rubs my shoulders. This was on Sunday, the 21st of August, 2019. He said, Tesh, the senior nurse practitioner and SNP, was a coup in his own country, a king. He rubbed my shoulders. He said, go and sit down and have a cup of water. And he left me with a security guard. When my partner, Darren, later turned up, he was extremely calm. I was calm. I'd just been sitting down with this security guard. And I told you what happened. I told you how the security guard got in Darren's face. I put my arm up to shield Darren, and I got dragged along the ground into the sliding doors, and I had to have a doctor look at my nose because the door slammed into my face and it was bruised. Now, I know I've spoken to you for hours. I've got emotional issues. I've never asked anyone for help with my mental health. Never. I am in a constant state of, I've had an early midlife crisis, you could say, because of everything that's happened. 2 days later, I was arrested out of the psychiatric unit in hospital pajamas. It was, I can't remember the day. I know that it was the 23rd of August. I know it was 2019. It was 2 days after this security guard assaulted me and Darren. This demented security guard was chasing my partner off the hospital grounds. And yet people that worked in the hospital said that he did nothing about a drunk for 3 hours. So I've not only been assaulted by police and nursing staff and patients and licensees, I've also been assaulted by a security guard who doesn't work. They very quickly move on to new pastures. He left his job. I was arrested out of there in hospital pyjamas. I recorded the ward review where Councillor Robin Maxted said they cannot release you with nowhere to go. And I've got it recorded. It's on my dictaphone, thankfully, before my last cheap phone packed up, because they didn't realise that I was recording them. And the ward manageress said, yes, we can. And they did. 4 months later, I was arrested out of there. In April 2019, I had been dragged into St Mary's in handcuffs. And then I was brutally thrown on my back in a little room in A&E where no one could see. And I was sectioned. And then 4 months later, Darren was not there for me down at the hospital. And as I said to you, Dan, I was crying my eyes out so much. And you know that feeling when you feel like you're inside. So Councillor Robin Maxted, what he has said, this is establishment level. The psychiatrist, the doctors, with their personalised number plates and all, have gone against what a member of the council has said. Now, I've got a personal message for Tina. I'm not going to get into it right now. I ignored the trolls. You were looking at my comments in the live stream. It's not your fault, Dan. I feel really bad for you that people have actually done this. They're making fun of both of us, actually. But you should have seen the offensive language and the bullying, and even your moderators, because they've gone from hugs and kisses to attacking me when my partner and I are both frustrated. And I've got something to say about Scott Andrew Home, because the MP office, I've live streamed this conversation where he did something on my behalf, but the MP office, Lucy, has reported him to the police, and he's the one who called the police. So you have to understand that Tina is not making any sense. She's lied to me. She's talked herself up with having 40 years experience. It was my partner that phoned Tina in the first place. Remember that? And he's just as annoyed as I am. He saw her emails. So for then Scott to say during your live chat, what's your partner doing? He's here right now with me. He's a shy person. He doesn't want to be seen, but he's here with me right now. And you will hear the phone call that we made a little while ago. And I'm about to play it. Because Princess Angela has also shown her true colours. But again, I'm going to put that in a personal message to Tina, because whatever has happened, something has changed to make Tina retract her services. Even if my partner was abusing me, even if he's gaslighting me, is it really helpful, Dan, for Scott then to start saying, why isn't your partner effing helping you? Again, Dan, it's not your fault. Those individuals are responsible for themselves. And if there's one thing that I am, it's a survivor. And I will call people out. And you said it was the wrong place to call Tina out. No, it wasn't, because she was in the chat. She used the F word. She was loose with her tongue. She had time to do that. She said to me she was retired. She had a lot of time on her hands. She said all the things I wanted to hear. It sounded too good to be true. And we know how the phrase goes. If something's too good to be true, it usually is. So here we go. This was I'm just documenting this for my own personal use. Anyone who takes these recordings without my permission or uses anything of mine because it's in the disclaimer is breaching my GDPR. So this was the phone call at 4:14 today.
Safety if I have in mind, because he has spent long hours trying to get the response about because she was posted due to the news incidents.
I've been assaulted.
Very dangerous behaviour. Now, she's doing it, getting, she's doing it, and, what you want to do, because sexual, is someone that's, she emailed me several weeks ago, and she got herself a response to that saying, you take the application response, that she did, and it said on this thing, what they're actually doing is 10 days of emergency. I mean, it's well beyond, well beyond. Because she tried actually leave this on Facebook, because he's going to do stuff on Facebook, and she wasn't getting anywhere with that. So, we're dealing with a situation now where because of, because she's got a hotel, in a hotel, she feels safe. She's probably running out to get her paid for the group. And she's not getting any, constructive responses from anyone at all. So she's got, she makes the best job because, he said that, he's one of the sort of involved with and what have you. And, this is really, good along. It's very awesome. It's very awesome. Because of incidents that, taken place in the past. And, she's not getting any sort of appropriate response there. And I thought, I think I try and contact with you because obviously, so this is the whole, the debacle that was going on then. But, it's, so I just wondered, given that you were in contact, yeah. Well, look, down. I'll let her speak for a minute while I just get her a drink. Okay, thank you, Robin.
Hello, Robin. Hello. Yes. I'm actually feeling very distressed right now. I'm talking to Darren in terms of. I'm sorry. I have to be blunt with my language. I've been started. I've been triggered into having suicidal feelings. It's not helped by. There was a woman who. I'm being failed by so many people. There's a woman who claimed she had 40 years of experience dealing with. She runs a website, Tina Chave, UK. What was it? UK independent advice. Yeah. And last night, there's someone who does a police abusing powers thing on YouTube, and I've documented everything that I've been going through. recorded being attacked. I've even recorded the neighbours complaining. I've got a lady who's a witness who can provide an affidavit of truth. She witnessed me being attacked. She's my only hope. We've been to the MP office. I've recorded on YouTube being lied to, hung up on. Someone in the police abusing Powers community said they rang the House of Commons. Well, she said that they did, and this Scott said it was me, and he said I was not abusive. Now, she said this Lucy was saying it's not going to help your case. She has reported him to the police, even though when Darren and I had an argument the other night throughout all the stress, he called the police. I don't want to see the police, and I will tell you why. Because, and I've got it recorded, and I've played this to many people, I recorded a licensee on a tag threatening to beat me senseless in the property that I am staying away from for my safety. I've been self-funding for 6 months with severe disability pay. I should not have been put in this situation. That was on the 29th of April. I rang 999 at 3 a.m. and 3 hours later, this was on the 29th of April last year, I was arrested by the investigating officer that I had been reporting these offences to. PC Franklin Lester arrested me. The council do not listen to the neighbours at Belmore Road. I was even taken in overnight by a neighbour up the road because of this individual on a criminal tag. I have been self-funding so many hotels with thousands of pounds of back severe disability pay. I've been recording on YouTube. I set up the YouTube account. When was it? It was just before the police beat me on Beachy Head during a welfare check, when the Herald had reported me in the paper as beating the police. I'm trying to take legal action over this. I am trying to get help I've tried every avenue you can humanly possibly think of. Caroline Ansell, I've got the emails she sent me saying that she would go to all these agencies. I'm continuously being lied to and fobbed off. This is why I now live stream my as much as I can on YouTube. And I'm just sick to death of all the lies. It's just lies and fobbing off. I've live streamed people at the council and the local government ombudsman hanging up on me and them saying we can do this, and I've been told by this Tina, no, they can't do that. They're not allowed to do that. It's within my right to record. Legally, I can record and live stream a phone call. A journalist can do that. They can put it out, publish their recordings if it's in public interest. This is for my own personal use. If other people use my recordings, that's up to them. But they're the ones that are going to get in trouble, because I am just recording and documenting. I filmed the property having no 24-hour CCTV, and it stated that there was. I showed footage of my smashed bedroom window. The council knew that drug addicts were there. How I've survived all of this, I do not know, but it has caused problems between me and Darren. I just would also like to let you know, Robin, that I also recorded the ward review from August. It was the 23rd of August 2019. Now, I don't have an iPhone. I now have a dictaphone that's full up, and I have a cheap phone and a laptop. That's all I have. But they didn't realise that I was recording them, and I'm glad I did, because in April 2019, I'd been dragged into St Mary's in handcuffs. This is the building that failed me when my mother was dying of cancer. They failed me in supported accommodation. I've got so many horror stories, but 2 police officers dragged me in there in front of a Dr. Baginski who wanted to suggest I suffered from psychosis because I was putting up a protest at being dragged in handcuffs. Now, 4 months later, I was arrested out of there. And just prior to that, I recorded the ward review where I quoted what you said to me and Darren in his flat, that they cannot release me with nowhere to go. I quoted you, I said, Councillor Robin Maxted said, you cannot release me with nowhere to go. I was making complaints. They didn't like it. The ward manageress who no longer works there said, yes, we can. And she said, right, I'm calling the police. And I was shaking. I was terrified. I rang Darren. This was while I was in the hospital. And I said that the long and short of it was I was arrested in hospital pajamas out of there. So they'd gone against what you had said they couldn't do. So in April 2019, I'm dragged into St Mary's in handcuffs. I'd already been put in a police cell as a homeless person. Dan Saxby from Brighton Housing Trust told me to go to the local government ombudsman for compensation because he said they're doing this to a lot of homeless people. Now, 4 months later, I'm arrested out of there. It was horrendous. The psychiatrist, Dr. Naliwala, was saying during the ward review, we'll help you with this and and you can have time to, just saying all this nonsense. And then because they didn't like me saying that I couldn't go to Bexhill because all my things are in, I'm paying for storage I pay storage to Eastbourne Borough Council. I don't drive. I've had damage to my possessions. I've had things taken to Hailsham. I've got things with Darren's friend at the food bank. He's turned funny towards me. I've had to record all of these things because I've had enough of the abuse. My human and civil rights, this has gone to the highest level now. This is on the level of human and civil rights.
Where is this address that you were
Sorry, which was the Bell? Yeah, Bell. Yeah, no, this is the same address that I've been staying away from for my safety. This is Belmore Road. This is number 12 Belmore Road. I've been self-funding I had a whole year of being attacked. I had been, during a welfare check on Beachy Head, I'd been beaten by the police. And this is where I've even reported the solicitor to the legal ombudsman. I've never committed a crime in my life. I am one of the most law-abiding citizens you can think of. This is like gang stalking. She wanted to try and, she said it was a welfare check and she was confused as to why the police said I beat them. And she wanted me to plead guilty. They can't do that during a welfare check. They can't section me after a welfare check, then print in the Herald, I could sue them for libel. The Eastbourne Herald in 2018 put it in the paper that I'd been reported missing when I went AWOL from the psychiatric unit because they weren't helping me. I went and slept in a field near my mother's ashes. My relationship with Darren has been in constant because of what Eastbourne police have done to me. And the Herald had reported that they found me safe and well. I was so ill. I was dragged in handcuffs backwards through Hyde Gardens. I'd been called into the Eastbourne Tourist Information Desk. They said, we think you've left something in here. I was wandering around aimless. I was homeless, and this is I've got these ongoing circumstances. I'm self-funding a hotel for 6 months for my safety. Yes, I've needed help with lots of things for a long time, for all these years that I've been failed. I mean, the mental health thing I've given up on. I've had 20. I could show you a little I could show you a newspaper article of me from when I lived at home in around 2003, and I've had a 26-year battle with the mental health services since school. But I went into supported accommodation 17 years ago to get support. My mother died, and I was with a crooked social worker landlord who basically said some rather unpleasant, dodgy things to me, like, you know too much and you might want to check you haven't inherited your mother's cancer. The support worker, his brother, his attitude when I went up to Beachy Head suicidal was, knowing that I don't drink, his attitude was, what the F were you doing up on Beachy Head drunk? This is all through St Mary's House. I went into my mental health has deteriorated before and since my mother died. I've had to deal with everything on my own. I've had attempted rape. I've had domestic violence. I've had 2 sisters I can't cope with. It spilled out into every area of my life in Eastbourne. I've been, for whatever reason, I've been blocked from visiting the hospice, the St Wilfrid's hospice, where my mother died. Well, my mother died in the old hospice, but the new hospice, I made gifts for the nurses who nursed my late mother, and I was bullied away by a care coordinator called Ella Williams, who, she said, you got that, you went to see, I'd never even met this woman before. She gave me her card and she basically shooed me away. She said, you've been to see her. I mean, my mental health deteriorated in a private rented flat where I had leaks that became a problem with Eastbourne Homes. That's how I ended up losing it down at the psychiatric unit in 2016, because I was having problems in the private rented flat, problems with my mental health. In the community, they never wanted to help me. They've lied on record saying that they, I mean, how far does it have to get within the deep state establishment, where during a welfare check after 6 years of police brutality, that during a welfare check I'm beaten by the police, I'm then sectioned and then trafficked. I use the word loosely, by the way, when I say trafficked. You know, I'm being, you know, very, you know, loose with my words, but when I say trafficked, I'm just, you know, just very, very loosely using the word, because it was, you couldn't make this stuff up. I know Eastbourne is full of crazy people, and the worst people I've found are the ones who are supposed to be caring for our welfare. I was then trafficked from the Worthing psychiatric unit back to Eastbourne. I'd been also assaulted by nursing assistants, I might add. Steve at the food bank was getting frustrated. He's got my things from the Strand Hotel, where I stabbed myself with a 6-inch knife in December 2018. This is in June of 2018. The Herald had reported me missing, and then said that I'd been found safe and well, when the police beat me again and dragged me back to a psychiatric unit that didn't want to help me. This is what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say. This is a woman who's had a lifetime, half of my life. I'm 40 now. I've just turned 40. I'm literally at the, I cannot do this forever. I've had to start recording everything.
Yeah, what is it that you would like me to do to help
At this stage, I'm literally licking my wounds, because it's driven me to, it's enough to drive a person to insanity. I do not know what to do anymore. I've waited for a David Sharp to get back to me that never got back to me, a head of housing. In the meantime, I've got members of the council that I'm recording on YouTube hanging up on me. And all they do seem to do, it seems, is twiddle their fingers, lie to me, fob me off, and say, we've got it written down that you're recording us. They sound like children in a playground. Well, let me tell you, I've also recorded staff at Belmore Road bullying me. One of them, I'm not a politically correct person, but one of them referred to me as an effing spastic. Now, according to Dan from Police Abusing Powers, that's a hate crime.
Where you are at the moment, Darren said it was a hotel that you were paying for yourself. You've been there for 6 months.
That's correct, yes.
What's it like there? Do you okay there? Do you feel safe up there?
I feel safe here. Yes, I do. I know. I'm getting to know Eastbourne. I've lived most of my life down here, but these hotels, I'm getting to know. Let me tell you something. The review of this hotel, the hotel that I am in is e.t.c now, because it used to be one of those hotels that was, that people talked up, and it's gone downhill since Britannia took over. But let me tell you something. I read one of the reviews back in December, I think it was, and it said homeless hotel. You should have read. The manager knows what's going on. Yes, because I have spent thousands of pounds of severe disability premium on these hotels, which legally I should not have been. Tina Chave said I should not have been placed in temporary accommodation. Legally, a person with complex issues should not be. But on the whole, just like any other human being, and I would really like to go down to the food bank with my lady witness, because she's in recovery from cancer right now herself. She was attacked in the street for trying to help me. I recorded the neighbours complaining. Sergeant Simmons told me to purchase. Let me finish what I'm saying, Darren. Sergeant Simmons told me to purchase a dictaphone to record antisocial behaviour. I recorded my life being in danger and the neighbours complaining. Jackie next door, I think she's a nurse. She's complained to the council. They don't listen to her. The council were targeting me. I had someone from the council come out to me to issue me with you couldn't make this up, an antisocial behaviour order for simply going across the road to my lady friend's, the Riverbourne house, where I've recorded neighbours, simply for going out there to ask if the Homes First manageress was there. This Homes First manageress, she knew about the problems, but she didn't want to get involved. This Zoe, just like a lot of people, have left their jobs. They've left their positions. Now, this Riverbourne house is a building that my friend, my lady witness, who saw my distress, Juliet, her friend lives in that building. I recorded a man of 71 saying, I'm 71, I shouldn't be having to put up with this. The police arrested me. I'm sorry to raise my voice, but I am feeling distressed and suicidal and at the end of it. And I'm telling Darren I've had enough of it all. I recorded a neighbour saying all of these things, and he said to me, for the 7 hours that I had been detained in a police cell for doing what a sergeant told me to do, which was to purchase a dictaphone and to record antisocial behaviour, the police illegally arrested me for the umpteenth time. And I recorded that same neighbour saying to me that the woman on a criminal tag that threatened to beat me senseless, but for the whole time that I had been detained, she had been throwing things out of her window. I am a decent, law-abiding citizen. I have been treated the way these criminals should be treated, but they are police-protected criminals. It is 12 Belmore Road, yes. And I'm sorry, Robin, but I
It's been in the cabin to show now, so
my money's running out fast. I had a back pay. I've spent thousands of pounds in the last few years. Yes, I am struggling. The rates are going up now. It's going to be 355 a week. Because I've been a loyal guest, so to speak. They've given me a room with a window, because I tell you what, even a room with a window that hardly opens, because I'm not paying the full rate for this room, but I'm telling you, I'm climbing the walls of despair. I'm struggling so much, even in this room that's got space. I'm losing my head. I'm losing my head all over all of this. Make me feel better. Well, hopefully, this has gone to establishment level. It's like they want me to kill myself. The number of times I've been up, I stabbed myself through the arm with a 6-inch knife in the Strand Hotel. This is the hotel that Steve, Darren's friend from the food bank, took my position. I tried to play him the recording of a woman threatening to beat me up over the phone. And I'm going to go down to the food bank with my lady witness. But right now I'm feeling so weak. I've been crying. I've been getting angry at Darren. The GP has been part of the problem. I've changed my doctor. So sorry to raise my voice to you. I'm sorry to raise my voice, but you have to understand, Robin, that if during a ward review, I record a ward review where I have told a psychiatrist and a ward manageress that Councillor Robin Maxted says you cannot release me with nowhere to go. And the ward manageress, who funnily enough has now left the Amberley ward, Jackie Lake, she said, yes, we can. And I'm calling the police. They arrested me in hospital pyjamas out of the psychiatric unit. They arrested me out of a hospital in hospital pyjamas. 4 months earlier, I had been dragged in there in handcuffs. I'm sorry to raise my voice. I'm sorry to raise my voice like this, but let me tell you something. It's made me so ill that it's made me think that Darren has been behind this. That's how ill it's made. I was released from the police cell. But wait for this. I was released from the police cell that I had been arrested out of a hospital that the police dragged me into in handcuffs. I was released from the police cell. I had Lucy Harriet referring to Darren as a, quote, knob. I then tell Darren then starts shouting down the phone because, of course, he's upset. Then you just imagine being in my shoes. So then I'm then in A&E. I'm in A&E. In a hospital where my mother had been dying of cancer when I was supposed to be supported by SHA, Southdown Housing Association. I've even recorded a social worker lying to me saying that I would be offered a 1-bedroom flat. I've got over an hour of recording of a social worker offering me a 1-bedroom flat at Belmore Road, the property where I have recorded. I have live streamed on YouTube a woman, a licensee attacking me, leaving blood on my door. The police, I got my laptop. It was all live. A woman in live in the early hours next door were woken up. A woman in America saw this live and she said, crumbs, the police haven't done anything. They've just left you. I said, I know. She said, I thought the cops here were bad. I said, I know. This is Eastbourne for you. They're doing nothing. They target me for recording my life being in danger for public order offences. These are crimes. These are crimes being committed against me.
You've been in the Cabinet now for 6 months.
Yeah, sorry to raise my voice. Yeah.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, well, I would actually like to. Yeah. My money's running out. My money's running out. I've been self-funding for 6 months.
That's what you need help with this money right now. So where can you go for that? Getting extra cash to help?
Well, this is just it. This is just it, Robin. The members of the council. Look, I'll be honest with you. I saw the distress in your eyes. It's the same look I saw in David's eyes at the MP office. Do you know what he said to me and Juliet? He said, "We get this a lot. We get a lot of complaints about temporary accommodation. My life has been put in danger. These are criminals. These are public order offences. The police protect them." Yes, and I'm literally, I've been talking to Darren about killing myself today because I really cannot. The stress is too much. It's too much. My money is running out now. My money is running out. Members of the council are hanging up on me. I've had the local government ombudsman hang up on me, but since they know that I've been doing this, they've stopped hanging up on me, and now I've got a reference, and I'm waiting for the council to get back. There, I am at stage 2. I've been paying for all of this. I'm paying out of my own pocket. My things. Listen, Robin, you need to hear this. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm trying to stay calm. I'm at the end of it, Darren. I'm at the end of it. No, you need to hear this because I went to my doctor. To get. My life has been put in danger because of Eastbourne Borough Council. My health, my safety, my life. The same employee, the same member of staff, the A&A contractor, who told me that he had walked in on dead bodies in one of their properties. And believe me, he had the same look in his eyes that I've seen in yours, that I've seen in other people's. He looked distressed. He is the same individual that I recorded calling me an effing spastic. And the neighbours witnessed the staff and the licensees bullying me. I have had it in the hospital. I have had it from patients, staff, licensees, police, you name it. There are a lot of, I don't know what it is, but there are so many demented people that the people you go to for support, I find it's very, very frightening. I'm going to pass you to Darren. Yeah, I'm sorry, because I can just feel myself. My money's running out, and my head cannot take this much longer. I just want you to know, when I record my conversations, it's not to be underhand. It is to document, because, as I said, I have recorded officials. This woman Lucy at the MP office, I've made notes at what points she's lied. She sounds ridiculous. People don't even listen to themselves anymore. She was saying, "I'm not going to hang up on you," and she did 2 of the things she said she wouldn't do, which is use the phrase that I've heard so many times that even Darren's friend has used at the food bank. We're going round in circles and hanging up on me. It seems to be something that they're trained in doing, whilst fobbing off and lying to me, saying, "Oh, well, this will go to the head of hat, this will go to Gary Hall, David Shop." I've now recorded everything. I'm also going to put the voice message of John Bartlett saying that my possessions are safe, because I am too scared. I am actually too scared to step foot into that property. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. I'm happy. Well, you know, I mean, it's been hit and miss with, you know, with. Let me tell you something. The review that said that this is where there was a review saying homeless hotel, and the management know what's going on. Let me tell you something. There was a woman in the foyer. I was sat with, there were lots of people who have their issues every now and again, and then they'll be in the foyer. And there was a girl. I was sat with a group of people. I was talking to the quiet man. There was a quiet man. Let's just say, without wanting to sound like a snob, a man who sounded quite well educated, and he was the one who told me to try Josh Bobberindi, and the fact that this Josh, who a month ago hasn't got back to me, even though he wants to take over from this appalling Caroline Ansell. I mean, she's even advertised her services. I've got all the emails where she has failed me in very, very serious, dangerous circumstances. Now, this Josh hasn't got. Now, the man who told me in the foyer a few months ago, because I got talking to this group of people, he told me to contact Josh. We were sitting with a group of people, and some of them were rather unsavoury. And one of them, this girl who was just being stupid, it was like being at Belmore Road, which is why I had to quickly move away, because the reason why I'm self-funding is for my safety. I want to keep away from people. I don't even like going out in Eastbourne during the daytime now. This girl started pulling Christmas decorations off the tree and throwing them at me after saying, "Oh, go to prison, you'll get the help." Yes, I know that, because that is the lesson that I have been learning. I've had a rather sheltered life in that area, but let me tell you that the solicitor that I reported to the legal ombudsman, they once charged me £90 for half an hour a few years ago to say they couldn't help me, and I was looking for someone to help me with the council. This bent solicitor wanted to get me. You couldn't make this up. You could not make this up. She wanted to get me. She wanted me to plead guilty so that I could get a probation officer, me, innocent me, who's led a sheltered life, a vulnerable woman who complains about smoking in bus shelters and cycling on pavements and is scared in council accommodation. She wanted me to get a probation officer to help me with housing. If this is why Tina Chave doesn't want to help me anymore, well, I hope she hears this, because this woman, for whatever reason, has retracted helping me. I was so anxious about getting help from someone. I was too scared. I said, I can't ring this woman, Darren. It was Darren who rang Tina, and we've both been let down by this woman who has 40 years of experience of dealing with ex-offenders and people with disabilities. I'll hand you back. Thank you. Yes. So there was something else I wanted to say to you about the faith. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Hello, Robin. I appreciate you taking the time. Obviously, Brian's had to sort of, she's had to throw out a lot of stuff in a very short period of time just to try and give you the picture of things. But we're at this point, as I say, where she hasn't got unlimited funds. She hasn't got access to unlimited funds. She's virtually on empty. Yeah. She's only booked up for another 4 days here. She's only booked up from four more days. 4 more days. That's it. And so we're running against the clock very severely right now. And so that just obviously adds to the the stress of everything else. So the fact that she hasn't been hearing back from the council, she's not heard back from the MP's caseworker, and she's not heard back from Josh. All of this just piles up. Yep. Well, we're aware that they have used hotel rooms, but I don't know what the criteria is, and I don't know who makes the decisions. But but they do put people in hotel rooms where there isn't any existing properties for them to put them in. But the issue here, the critical issue, as you can probably hear, is Bryony needs to feel safe. That is number one. Number one. Yes. So what we don't want is that sense of safety. We don't want that completely destroyed by the fact that she's got no means to actually, continue with that situation. You've actually been at the Cavendish now? How long?
6 months,
right,
half a year.
Yeah, but she was actually briefly in another hotel, but she's been mainly in this one. And as I say, she's only got, including today, her booking runs out when? On the 25th.
Yes.
It runs out on the 25th.
And the rates are going up.
And the rates are going up.
I cannot take any more. I cannot take any more.
Because she can book so many days ahead. She's booking based on the, this is obviously a, how can we say, this is not something that the hotel is normally offering, guests who are here for holidays. This is something where they kind of, they're allowing her to, stay in a hotel room at an unusually low rate because, they've obviously, accepted that she's in a particular situation, but, what it would really require, Robin, is that rather than her waiting, an unlimited amount of time, whether someone's going to get back to her about, are they going to try and find her a safe alternative accommodation or not, at the moment, what's most immediate is there someone that could sanction, some kind of, payment for her to stay in this room based on the fact
say to him
that she's not
my life has been put in danger.
She's not able to go back to this property.
My life has been put in danger.
But he's contacted by the council. I don't know what company he works for, but he goes there every week to check on the rooms. And he left a voicemail for Bryony yesterday saying, this is just to confirm that your belongings are in the room. The room is secure. That's what he does. But obviously, Bryony herself, she needs obviously to be able to feel that she's in a place where she can actually at least use facilities where she feels she can have just at least feel that she's actually got a place that she can call an address until we get somewhere else. We're still looking for. Obviously, we're still looking, for flats and stuff like that, and we're trying to contact estate agents. So that's still going on. But in the meantime, well, they have been. I mean, they obviously haven't had a problem with her having this room at an exceptionally low rate for some time now. I would say that if they've allowed Brian to stay here for obviously an extensive period now, this is an unusually long time in one room, just in one room. She's been in a couple rooms, but she's been in the current room. She's been in here for a long time. So there's obviously they obviously have made it possible for her to stay here. So she needs to be able to know that she's got somewhere to stay until something else comes
up. It's very simple. It's so simple. It's unbelievable.
That's it. She needs to know that she can stay in the same place until she's got somewhere else to go to. That's it. He's got it. Right, here, I'll just pass you back. Just a second. He wants to know your surname. Just give me your surname.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. It's McCarthy. That's okay. That's correct. Look, I do. Yeah, sorry. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Can I? But you have to understand. I am being unbelievably. I had David, the MP caseworker, say to me, as a PCSO has said to me, I would be more angry than you. Yes, if this happened to me, I don't know how I'm finding the strength to survive all of this. It's yeah. I'm just very scared. I really just cannot take, and I shouldn't, legally, I should not have been put in these. I've had all these crimes committed against me, my human and civil rights. Let me tell you that girl that was throwing baubles at me, and I went to complain about it, but the receptionist didn't want to know. So me and this gentleman went upstairs, because he's got this old man who had problems. We went into his room. I felt safe to go into his room. Now, let me tell you something. That girl got help from Dan Saxby. Dan Saxby has washed his hands of me. I've recorded Lorraine Blackwell hanging up. She has got. Lorraine Blackwell didn't want to help me from BHT. I've recorded this. It's all on YouTube. All these people at the council failing. I'm sorry to raise my voice. I know you have to go. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Okay.
We've got 4 days left,
All right then. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Robin.
Thanks, Robin. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. But I can see why people. Right. I'm just end this recording. I can see why people just
Right, so there we are. That's the recording of the phone call earlier today. As my partner, who is still with me, has said, this is unsustainable levels of stress. I haven't been out. I'm barely functioning right now. I didn't sleep last night because of what happened with Dan's live phone in, and the abuse that I got, and then a few hours during the afternoon I had a horrible nightmare about the police. This has been 6 years of non-stop torture. I've slept rough. I've tried every avenue there is, and if all Tina could say, the first time that I heard her, when I phoned in and she rang, when I'd started watching Police Abusing Powers, the first time I phoned in to Dan and the first time I heard Tina's voice, one of the things Tina said was, and I'm going to be brutally honest now, her words were, she jokingly said, "I'm a nosy cow." Was that a joke, or did she literally mean that? Because I've told her some very personal information about myself. And I might like to add, Tina, I did what I did because I've been failed and you affirmed me, and I'm going to make a personal message to you. And in that private rented flat, what you don't realise is I had leaks that went through to the hair salon below me. And if it hadn't have been for an ex-army Jehovah's Witness friend that I met late in the early hours, because I couldn't eat, I'd lost my mother, I couldn't function, supported accommodation had forced me to sign a homeless application form. That is why I emailed you a picture of my mother's death certificate with the dates. Now, I am aware that there is a woman who claims to be in a wheelchair that I offered her the information of your website to, but I didn't give her your personal email address. I gave her your website address. Then this woman turned bizarre, threatened me. So I'm trying to help other people where I can. And she lied under Dan's live stream. If you go to my live stream on the 8th of March, where it's titled Voice Message for John Bartlett, etc., Go 1 hour and 10 minutes in, have a look at the live chat, and you will see this woman, Sprit, S-P-R-I-T, Faith End Times, and she has said, don't know who Dan is. But have a look at Dan's live phone-in on, I think it was Sunday the 6th of March. And she has commented, Spirit Faith End Times, S-P-R-I-T, she's misspelt it. Right under Dan's video, she's saying, this woman, the council helped her and she's no longer in Eastbourne. So I caught her out lying, and she's also saved a video of me being appalled that a woman in a wheelchair could behave like this. And she's recorded Dan's police abusing powers theme. This is someone who claims to be a faceless person who claims to be in a wheelchair. And just like this woman, I only had one conversation with her. In the same way, I've only had one phone conversation with you, Tina, and I wish I'd recorded it so that I could play it live. And then people, including me and my partner, who didn't hear what you said when he passed the phone over to me, because you knew that I'm suffering from crippling anxiety. When I finally spoke to you, you told me, I will do all these things for you. I will help you with this, that, and the other. I've got 40 years experience. Talking yourself out, I said how wonderful you sounded. I said, oh, it's like a prayer's been answered. And you told me to ring you back the next day or whenever I felt able to, because you had the patience, you're retired, and you've got the time. But Tina Chave, you've retracted this and you've sent me an email. Everything that you told me about during our conversation, you're like a completely different person in one email. And Princess Angela, whilst people were abusing, being offensive and using foul language, and Tina, you were one of them, not towards me personally, but during Dan's live phone-in last night, because I'm really trying to hold back my anger here, because you've offered your services to me. You told me to phone you back, and you've sent me an email saying, I'm not going to take any phone calls from you, and you won't explain why. And you said something really weird in Dan's live chat whilst these trolls were attacking me. You said that you won't, something about emails can be doctored or something. I thought, what are you on about? You said an email can't be doctored. I don't know what on earth you're talking about. An email can, a phone conversation can't. Either way, where are you even going with this? You've shown to me. Why would I want to have a conversation with someone who's refusing to take a phone call from me? You're not someone who clearly can be trusted. So this thing about you saying in Dan's live chat, live phone in, that first time you phoned in, I'm a nosy cow, I thought you were being humorous. But I think you literally meant it, because I've given you personal information. Well, everything I'm saying on my YouTube channel is what I say in private to you and Dan anyway. But there's a lot that you don't know. But I did tell you one thing that I haven't disclosed to anyone else. And that was what I did at the psychiatric unit. One day when I'm ready, I will reveal it publicly. If you want to do that publicly, you can. But the fact that you won't even take a phone call from me, when you've said, I look forward to hearing from you. You know what this reminds me of? And you batting it back to me and using this new age nonsense. Now, I've got all respect. You can be a Buddhist. You can be whatever you like. You can be pagan. I don't care what your beliefs are. I don't care. I even said to my partner, you can pray to whoever you like. You can pray to the fallen one for all I care. He's the one who encouraged me to pray to Yahweh. But let me tell you this, I honestly thought a prayer had been answered. And I'm actually really appalled by you, Tina. My partner is not well himself. Oh, go and get a driving license. You were doing what any Tom, Dick or Harry could do. I've been doing other people's jobs. You told me you have 40 years of experience. That's my lifetime, that is. I'm really, really appalled, but I'm trying to be nice about this. At one point, Dan said he can understand how I feel, and yet he got flustered because his own moderators on police abusing powers started becoming abusive towards me. And Darren said to me, my partner said, just ignore them. They've got too much time to, you know. The thing is, Dan, if you've got to choose your friends carefully, because if you said to me, as you said to me, these videos are for my personal documentation. I've got a disclaimer out there that if anyone shares anything without my personal permission, they're breaching my GDPR. But this is just a message in case you might not, whatever, it's not your fault. Tina is responsible for herself, and so is everyone else. Your moderators, everyone in the live chat. I could see what was, you said you were looking at my comments, but Dan, were you looking at the abusive comments, including the one where Scott Andrew Home, who is the one who contacted you about me, and you forwarded me an email, he rang the MP office on my behalf, and Lucy would not say his name. Lucy at my local MP office, she basically said to me that she's reported an individual to the police and that he'd rung the House of Commons. He'd been basically abusive. She wouldn't give any content as to what was in that conversation. She just said abusive. But then she wasn't very nice to me. She lied to me. This is the same Scott that Tina said if Scott is going to ring the police on my behalf because I'm distressed. And yet Tina and Scott has had an adverse effect on me during your live phone-in on police abusing powers last night, because he was saying something about your effing partner. Where is he if he's not helping you? Do you see what I mean? This flip-flopping, this passing the buck. So yes, I am holding back my anger because I thought this woman had real expertise. And all she's done is talk herself up, offer me services, tell me to phone her back, then send a cold email saying, I'm not going to be taking phone calls from you. I will forward you Tina's emails and you can see for yourself. But I am struggling at such a basic rate just to eat and sleep. I haven't slept last night. I slept some of today and I had some nightmares about the police. So, even Scott, who rang the police on me because I was suicidal, because of my argument with my partner and the stress, Tina said, as you said, Dan, don't apologise and don't overthink. Well, Princess Angela said during your live phone-in, she said, you have been emailing Tina Chave for months. No. And why would she say that? What does she know or not know? That's between me and Tina. Do you see where I'm going with this? I had one phone conversation with Tina. My partner rang her because of my anxiety. And I have nothing more to say. But yeah, so this is what happens when people talk themselves up, offer you things, offer you their services on a website. I had the same with Caroline Stevens from seekingthetruth.net. But I will put that in a separate video, a personal message for Tina. I'm checking out now. But as I said, I've got a disclaimer about anyone who shares anything without my permission. You will be responsible for if you do anything that has a detrimental effect on me and the people that I am contacting, it will fall on your heads. I'm saying this to any individual who will take it upon themselves to share any recording, any video, anything of mine without my consent, when I haven't even heard any phone calls or recordings from them to the MP office or any of these other officials. It is on your heads that this shall fall. I'm putting this warning out there because this member of the council is the only individual who's actually actively shown any kind of concern. And if you do anything detrimental, if you share anything, read my YouTube disclaimer about sharing content without my permission. And on that note, Shalom Yahweh, and Darren and I will continue to pray. We will continue to pray for our hedge of protection.